After a successful Kickstarter campaign in 2013, The Fall has finally made its way to the Xbox One this month by way of the ID at Xbox self-publishing program. It's a 2D sci-fi point-and-click adventure game that feels like a cross between Limbo, Blackthorn, and Monkey Island if they were all written by Philip K. Dick. There's tough puzzles to solve, creepy environments to explore, and a lot of great dialogue between characters, but what really brings it home is the phenomenal writing and storytelling that culminates into one of the most bizarre and thought-provoking endings I've experienced in a long, long time. The story begins when an unconscious pilot lands on a mysterious planet, awakening their combat suit's onboard AI. Known as Arid, her primary function is to save the human occupant at all costs within the limitations of her programming. Arid also quickly discovers that she's not the only AI on board, and yet without human emotions manages to forge relationships with the others in a rather interesting Blade Runner sort of way. With a menacing caretaker overseeing the reformatting of disobedient AI, survival is your top priority. Is it possible for a computer to change, to adapt, or will they always conform to protocol? The Fall is the first of a trilogy, but it doesn't play out like an episodic adventure game like The Walking Dead or Life is Strange. Generally, the first episode of any adventure exists purely to build a foundation, introduce characters, and leave enough breadcrumbs to draw you into future installments. The Fall definitely succeeds there, but also manages to deliver a compelling story that completes the game, rather than feeling like a simple opening chapter. The writing is smart, catering to my soft spot for science fiction and dark humor with its slow burn pacing and frequent guesswork. I was a human in control of an AI suit, and no matter how much I wanted to think as a human, I was still confined by Arid's own set of rules, and the dialogue never ever let me forget that. At no point did I ever feel that Over the Moon was pulling any punches or withholding information that would leave me with a crummy cliffhanger after 5 hours of hard work. My time was respected, and I always appreciate that. I spent a majority of the game navigating corridors and reading documents while collecting various items to use in the environment in order to solve a plethora of brain-bending puzzles. This is the type of game that encourages you to scour wall to wall, reading everything in order to make heads or tails of the situation that's blocking your path. The solutions weren't always in plain sight either, forcing me to think outside the box, but that doesn't always mean they made sense. There was one instance that baffled me when I had to go up 2 floors just to insert fish guts into a shower in order to bathe myself with their scent instead of just applying them to myself with my own hands. There were other times when I felt clueless, pacing aimlessly back and forth between areas, hoping to stumble upon something I might have missed the last 14 times, but that aha moment when it all finally clicked was extremely satisfying. The Fall presents a fairly competent combat system as well. Your single-shot pistol eventually becomes a rapid-fire killing machine, but it's easy enough to line up well-placed headshots by switching your flashlight to a laser scope and aiming with the right analog stick. Your combat suit is also equipped with a cloaking device that can be used to avoid gunfire, and with a simple press of the left bumper you can duck behind objects in the environment and trade rounds with security bots. The first few encounters took some getting used to, but once I got my feet wet, I looked forward to opening fire or delivering stealth kills any chance I got. With that being said though, The Fall is definitely an adventure game, not a shooter, and I'm glad it was built around exploration, puzzles, and storytelling rather than its infrequent gunplay. Graphically, The Fall is visually similar to the Swapper, which clearly had the same influences. Since most of the game takes place underground, it's to be expected that you'll spend a lot of time illuminating the darkness with your pistol's flashlight by using the right analog. Your flashlight is used to highlight objects in the environment, so it's more of an aim and click mechanic, and while braving the darkness was often exciting, trying to lock onto icons in the background was somewhat troubling at times. Sometimes the darkness felt a little overwhelming, hindering my ability to locate key items on the first pass, but the contrasting neon glow of computer screens, buttons, and exploding fungi prevented the dull tones from becoming too repetitive. The overall atmosphere is really incredible though, accompanied by an amazing soundtrack full of uneasy, ambient sounds that begs you to play with a set of headphones on. Overall, The Fall is a really solid adventure with a lot of creepy environments to explore and well-voiced dialogue between its interesting cast of characters. I didn't expect its dark humor, which was a pleasant surprise, but the star of the show is easily the writing. It's well-paced, smart, and brilliantly written in such a way that I never saw the finale coming, and I really couldn't have asked for more in an adventure game. We're giving The Fall on Xbox One an 8.5 out of 10.